Macmillan Audio presents The Day the President Was Shot, How the Secret Service and FBI Stopped a Would-Be Assassin and Saved Ronald Reagan, by Bill O'Reilly. Read for you by Robert Petkoff, with an introduction read by Bill O'Reilly. Getting shot hurts. Ronald Reagan in his diary reflecting on March 30th, 1981.
A note to readers. The Day the President Was Shot is a story of courage, split-second decision-making, superior training, and clear thinking. It is also a story of obsession and mental illness. These elements come together, of course, in the moment John Hinckley shoots President Reagan, thinking he will impress a movie star, and a moment later when Agent Jerry Parr shoves Ronald Reagan into a limousine. There are so many what-ifs in this heart-stopping story. What if John Hinckley had been identified as a threat when he was nabbed trying to get guns through airport security in Nashville? What if he hadn't been able to buy replacement guns? What if the president hadn't stopped to wave to fans who were standing close to him outside the hotel? What if Secret Service agent Timothy McCarthy hadn't spread his body around Reagan's and taken a bullet? What if Jerry Parr hadn't noticed the bloody handkerchief Reagan lowered from his mouth? What if Washington, D.C. traffic had delayed driver Drew Unruh's arrival at the hospital? Every single second counted. The strength of character of the men hired to guard, drive, and protect Ronald Reagan began to save his life. The skill and speed of the emergency room staff, doctors, and nurses completed the task. This book is a tribute to them, medical staff who work to heal each patient as if he or she is the President of the United States, and the men and women tasked with protecting world leaders. The best of them display the selflessness of true patriots.
Prologue. Washington Hilton Hotel, Washington, D.C., March 30th, 1981, 2:27 p.m. It takes just 1.7 seconds for John Hinckley to fire all 6 bullets. The assassin is immediately punched in the head by a nearby spectator, then gang-tackled by the crowd. Hinckley is buried beneath several hundred pounds of angry citizens as Secret Service agents try to take him alive. Ironically, their job is now to protect Hinckley with the same energy they devote to protecting the president. As John Hinckley is subdued, 3 of his victims are fighting for their lives. One of them is the 40th President of the United States, Ronald Wilson Reagan. Part 1. Chapter 1. Convention Center Music Hall, Cleveland, Ohio, October 28, 1980, 9:30 p.m. 5 months before the attempted assassination, Ronald Reagan strides to his lectern for the 1980 presidential debate. The former movie star and 2-term governor of California is hoping to become President of the United States at the relatively advanced age of 69. His hair is black and his high cheekbones are noticeably rosy. At 6 feet 190 pounds, Reagan stands tall and straight, but his appearance does not intimidate. Rather, he looks to be approachable and kind. With more than 50 movies and many television shows to his credit, Ronald Reagan is a familiar face to most Americans. The governor's opponent is incumbent President Jimmy Carter. At 5 feet 9 and 155 pounds, the slender Carter has the build of a man who ran cross-country in college. In fact, the president still makes time for 4 miles a day. Carter is a political junkie, immersing himself in every last nuance of a campaign. He has made a huge surge in the polls over the last month. Carter knows that with 1 week until the election, the race is dead even. The winner of this debate will most likely win the presidency. As both Reagan and Carter well know, the 1970s have been a brutal time for America. In 1974, President Richard Nixon resigned under suspicion of criminal activity in the Watergate affair.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?